The National Curriculum Framework Guidelines are also been released by the NCERT, and soon we will be having a NCF for other levels as well. So the major changes, if you look upon again, this early childhood care and education also become a part of the formal education. Here the structure become 5+3+3+4, and apart from this, the major skills which being focused are on again providing the child a diverse environment in terms of multiple entry and exit, if we'll talk about, right, and in terms of choices in the different languages being given to the child and different subjects also. And from the class 6 onwards, the focus is more upon the innovations and developing an entrepreneurship skills among the students.
I'm Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur, author of the book Perfect Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Dr. Sneh Bansal. She has more than 18 years of enriched educational experience, out of which 15 years are with the Teachers Education Institution in Chandigarh College of Education, Mohali, Punjab. Currently she is serving as a principal in the same institution. She has done Ph.D. in Learning Disability from Punjab University. She has done M.A. in Psychology and Economics, M.Ed from UGC NET, Ph.D. on Learning Disabilities from Punjab University. She is a recipient of the National Award from NCERT for Innovative Practices in School and Teacher Education Institution towards Resource Persons, Capacity Building Program of School Teachers and Principals, CBSE Expert Speaker, Department of Education Chandigarh for In-House Services Training Program State Convener, School Psychology InsPA Member, the Open Education Conference Board of Directors, SPARC, Washington DC, National Secretary, Peace Education, Economic Council of India, New Delhi Consultant, Academic and Curriculum of School Education CWSN Member, and Developer of Projects 2021 and 2022, Open Education for Better World, University of Nova Gorica, and UNESCO, Slovenia, a transformative leader with 16 plus years of dynamic experience in Teacher Education Institute in Chandigarh, Mohali, Punjab, and providing education and organizational consultation to schools as a trainer and workshop facilitator. She has published 3 books on inclusive education and more than 30 papers in national and international journals, completed 2 research projects on inclusive education, and organized extensive outreach program to develop social and moral values and skill among the students. Today she will be discussing with us about her life journey. So let us hear from her. Welcome Dr. Sneh. The platform is open and now over to you.
Thank you so much. So much, Jitendra Singh, for inviting me for the session, and I hope like this journey of the interviews which you will be having and whosoever going to listen, some takeovers from this particular interviews will be there. Thank you.
Sure, definitely looking forward to it. So if I talk about your past life, how it has affected the person who you actually wanted to be in your life and what you are.
Something like, it's very tough to express in words, because if you talk about what actually influenced me and what was my past, that's something, it's something which randomly comes up, because at the age of 21 I got married. So that was very early. I was just graduate that time, and being into that young phase, I have lots of fantasy, and I did not think about pursuing my education, but somehow I had that passion to do something in my life, so that's really make me to move into the journey of education. Actually, what happened, one of my neighbors was a teacher, and when I saw her, it always made me think, oh, it's something, we as a youngster always ignore teaching as a profession, which I think something, we can change the world, the transformation can be happened. So that makes me to pursue my studies. So I did my bachelor in education, masters, and PhD in learning disability. So that was something again, like I make me to enter into the area of special education. So if I look into my past, what I felt, the situation around you actually which makes you a person which you are at present. So the situations was something which actually transformed me a lot. We generally see like, okay, this is the family member or this is the person into our life who actually make the changes, but as a person, what I really believe, it is a situation and it is the environment which actually affects you. So that's something, the changes I could notice in myself.
So when you were growing, like from that point, you were kind of looking forward to being a teacher.
Yes, because why being a teacher? Because, teaching is a profession when you remain with the young people. And this is something which makes you lively. How old you become? Like at the age of 75 and 80, you're thinking, because the way of living most of the time becomes like a youngster. And this is something which you enjoy also.
You're always crowded with young people, like kids, youngsters. So
Yeah.
you keep yourself young all the time.
Yes, of course. Who don't want to look young? Everybody. So people are spending a lot, and but I think if you being with the youngsters, that actually what the purpose is. Basically, young people are full with energy and they have lots of ideas. It is only thing we need to know how to channelize their energy. And when you become a part of that group, you actually lead them and make them how to become a successful person, and moreover, most importantly, providing them a platform so that they can nurture the skills which they already have.
Correct. That's really wonderful. So if I talk about things you are passionate about in your life, I know teaching would be one, but I want more answers onto it.
Actually, I love to do yoga, and like running is something which makes me feel so happy, and I love dancing as well. So these are the something which I always look forward. The moment I'll get free, I go to gym, I spend some time in nature for walk, for running. So that's something I'm very much passionate about, because holistic development is something which everybody need to look upon. And you might agree with me, nowadays we are full with technology all the time. We have a lots of things going on at a time, but if you're going to spend some time with the nature, give time to yourself, that's always been very important. So what I am passionate more about is, again, apart from the teaching, of course, that's the primarily one, but as a person, if I look upon what makes me happy is to give time to yourself in the form of walking, running, and do some kind of workout.
Great. And being healthy is always helpful. That keeps you young always. That is again another one which I think
Actually, it makes you connect your body, mind, and soul.
Right.
That's more important.
So if I talk about your work and experiences, like how your journey started, what all you did, and what you are doing now these days.
Okay, so as I've already shared with you regarding my education, because being at that age when you got married so early, but still you have some passion and something going into mind. You need to do something so that you can contribute best to the society. So I pursued my education like in the teacher education only, and then when I completed my PhD, that's a doctorate, that's in the learning disability, and that was something create a lots of interest in the area of special education and to do something for the children with disability. Because if we look around us, we have such kind of children who are always being neglected and are being ignored, and now still in this phase also we are looking forward how to make the education accessible to them and providing them a quality education. So working for the children with disability is something which I always look forward, and I'm actually contributing a lot in terms of getting the field experiences. Whenever I get time, I go to different schools and try to understand what kind of system the school has, and do provide some kind of teachings to these children.
Okay, like kind of process building for teachers who can finally teach these children.
Yeah, it's both way. It's with the kids also, with the children with special needs also, and a training, which is very important part now. Like if we look upon the national education policy as well, professional development program. So making the teachers capable, making the teachers equipped with how to teach the children with special need in the regular classroom, because now the inclusive education is a something which is being emerged up, and this is actually the need of our nation as well.
Right, that is really needed at this point in time. So we would be talking about this further. If I talk about your vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years from now, so what do you think that would be?
I just want to add upon, like, because as I said, I always want to be a transformative leader in terms of giving back to the society and inculcating human and moral values among the youth. And what my mission is, again, to become more pedagogically leaders and transforming the life of others. That's the something which I look upon.
Right, and you would be having like certain thoughts what all would be the process of like all this journey. So would you like to share with us?
Yes. See, the process is basically what I believe, what everything that today is the day. Today is your last day. So whatever you can do, whatever you can contribute, do to the maximum extent you can and put your 100% efforts. So this is what my philosophy for the life is, because I always believe, like, yes, we need to plan something strategically, because again, as a human being or as a person, we do have certain vision and mission. But at the same time, what I believe, like, if you want to take your life journey as it is and plan it the way it is coming up, I think that's something makes you to achieve that goals as well.
Right.
Maybe, yeah, something like this. Yes.
Right. So if I talk about the most important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional journey so far, so what are those things?
See, like the last 3-4 years was very tragic for everybody due to this pandemic. And this pandemic process has actually changed our thought process. The way we were thinking before and the way we are thinking now, it's totally different. So what, like, I believe is, like, as a person, we need to live the life as I've already shared, because I don't plan much. Like, planning basically, yes, okay, I want to do this. So what I mean over here is daily, whatever comes to you, you just do it best. But yes, you need to have a prioritizing with you. It's not something like, okay, I'm going to do this, that. But the first thing what I do every day is to do what I need to do. So to making to-do list, that is prioritizing the things, and accordingly I give time to each and every activity, and slowly and gradually it makes me to move towards my final goals.
Right. So your focus is like planning for a bigger picture and prioritizing your work on daily goals, and you work
Yes.
on that, like achieving those goals. Great. So that's really wonderful. And you just spoke about national education policy. So I'd like to know more onto it, like what exactly National Education Policy 2020 is all about. What is the difference between the National Education Policy 2020 and the previous policies which we were having?
See, the one thing, like this national education policy, that was the policy which came after 34 years of the replaced the previous national education policy, which was in 1964. Right. And this policy, we'll talk about that. This particular national education policy focused more on the multidisciplinary and holistic development of the students. And if you see, there's a drastic change in the school education system also. We have now 5+3+3+4 education system, and even in the higher education also, you look upon, there is lots of flexibility is being given, and the focus is more on making our students global competent, but at the same time making them connect with the roots, with our roots of our nation as well. And this particular policy, specifically if I talk about in terms of teacher education, drastic change going to be happen, because initially we had Bachelor of Education only, but now the focus will be given more on the multidisciplinary approach in terms of coming up of the ITP, that is Integrated Teacher Education Program, will be coming up. So in that, the child child or the candidate who completes his 12th can also enter into the teaching profession, because you must agree with me, teaching, when we talk about teaching this profession, the youngster always comes up as a last profession, not the first priority, right? But now the focus is in this particular national education policies, after 12th a learner can choose this program, that's an integrated teacher education program, where the child can complete his degree, that is 3-year degree, along with the education component. But these two, education and the knowledge, like again the content domain, will not work in an isolated form. This all will be an integrated form in every year, and this way we are expecting, like, this national education policy will definitely going to bring back the integrity of teachers, which we have lost now.
Correct. There is a huge gap. If we see past 1 to 2 decades, there is a huge drastic downfall, we can say, in terms of education standards, most of the schools. So which needs to be uplifted, and this policy would definitely help on that. So if we compare this policy as well as the old one, so what are the good points you see here?
See, as I said you, like, this particular policy is basically, which is based upon the multidisciplinary approach, and it is connecting the learner with the roots also. So that means we again we are focusing more on the digital also, but at the same time we are promoting our indigeneity as well. So this particular national education policy, you could see there is a lots of flexibility is being given, and most importantly the emphasis is being given on the mother language as well, the mother tongue, which generally we people have observed this was the area which was being neglected, because promoting our own Indian language is also equally important. And this particular policy is basically the basic principle of this policy is to develop the learners in terms of making them a 21st century learners and developing more creativity, curiosity, and commitment driven life.
Right. And like as you mentioned about the inclusion of Hindi language, so would that be part of the curriculum now on
Yes.
as a regular subject? Because earlier
like
in 12th,
till class 5, the teachers need to emphasize on the mother language, because see, when we are, the basic idea behind is that we need to make the child understand the different concept, and the child should apply it in the real life, right? It is not something we are talking more in terms of the theoretical concept, but if you're going to deliver the same thing in the mother tongue, so the child can learn best. क्योंकि हमारी जो मातृभाषा है, जो चीजें हम शुरू से ही बोलते हैं, जो लैंग्वेज, उसमें अगर हम बच्चे को पढ़ाते हैं तो वो the child can be more expressful, and again the information, the knowledge which we want to impart to the child, that can be communicated properly, and the child can receive it in a right manner.
So one disconnect can also be possible here, like if we emphasize more on local language like Hindi as our Indian language, if we say, so focus would be on that for first 5 years, when the child would be provided with the education on English and other subjects. So there would be difficulty for him to grasp from Hindi to English, maybe?
See, not exactly, because again, like there is a provision, like again, the national education policy emphasize is let the child given an opportunity to learn the number of languages he or she is interested in, right? So the main focus is till the class 5, the subject should be taught in the mother tongue, right? It's not like you are going to delimiting the child with a particular language. It is about, because the foundation years of the life are very crucial, and during that foundation year, if you teach the child in the mother tongue, the child can receive well, the child can learn well, but at the same time, it doesn't say you're going to completely ignore the other language.
Okay.
So that's the basic difference we need to understand. And the moment the child comes to the upper classes, then there is always a provision, that could be communicated in the different languages. But again, being what we think, we always feel like, oh, English is something, if anybody knows English, that means he is very intelligent. No, it is your ideas, your creativity, your innovation, which is more important.
Correct.
Language is what? Language is something, it's a channel to communicate with each other.
Correct. Your ideas, thoughts are differently work when it comes to expressing and when it comes to communicating. it is kind of a language which is required.
And nowadays, like with the advancement of the technology, we have a translators with us, so that also not a barrier, I feel.
Right. That's really wonderful to hear about national education policy. So, if I talk about inclusion of children with disability, what are the benefits offered to them? How they would be part of regular education system?
Very good questions. Actually, that's something is very relevant when we talk about the education of children with disability. And specifically, if you look up on the national education policy, the national education policy has duly emphasized the providing quality education to not only the children with disability, but also it included the part of inclusivity. That means like we have a differences in terms of gender, socio-economic background differences, the regional differences being there, but it tries to bring out the inclusivity part in the education. And for this, it is very much aligned with the Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016. You might have heard about it, right? So the national education policy is in consonance with the Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. If you look upon the Sustainable Development Goals 4, it talks about inclusivity, equity, and diversity. So providing quality education to these children in the educational institution is one of the important parameter which has been put upon, and duly emphasis is being given on providing a quality education in terms of curriculum adaptation and modification by the teachers. Because generally what happens when we have an inclusive classroom, the children with disability in the classroom being there, the teacher uses those conventional method or the regular method which actually fits to the whole class, but what generally happens, the diversity, the need of different type of learners are being ignored. Specifically, we talk about the children with special needs. So in the national education policy, the focus is more given on providing training to the teachers and providing some kind of sensitization and awareness program to the school, the stakeholders who are associated with the schools, so that they can include these children. And beside that, there is again a reservation in terms of employment also. So the major focus, if we'll talk about the national education policy, it is very much in consonance in the Rights of Person with Disability Act, in which again the number of disability has been increased from 7 to 21, and the major the role of the general teachers comes in, because it is a general teacher who remains in the classroom and has to understand the needs of those diversity. Along with that, the resource teacher also is very important. So all those parameter has been minutely taken care and being put up, and now every education institution has to provide a quality education to these children with term of curriculum adaptation and modification, which is very important. So we have different kind of techniques, and moreover now the teachings are more based upon universal design of learning, where we'll talk about keeping into view the needs of each and every child. You're going to prepare the lessons and deliver accordingly.
So this means not only the schools offering education to special children, but journal schools also need to follow these like guidelines in terms of creating an environment wherein if any students comes who have either of the disabilities listed in the Disability Act, so they need also to support that children with all the education plus whatever support is required to get that education to the children.
Yeah, very right. So that's a conducive and the supportive environment, and along with all the facilities need to be provided in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of accessible classroom, if we'll talk about, and in terms of again the education, the curriculum, as I said, that need to be done, and even the accommodation and modification has been done in the exam as well, because when we look upon the different boards exemptions, that's being there for the children with disability as well, because when the child appear in the class 10th and the 12th board exam, and that time these children require certain kind of accommodation, so that also been done by the different boards. Like if you look upon the CBSE, again the notice and circular, they have very well mentioned about keeping into view all the 21 disability, what kind of accommodations and modification need to be provided to these children, keeping into view their specific disability when they appear for the exam. And one thing important I just want to highlight over here, it is not only when the child with disability having a board exam, then that time only the accommodation need to be provided. It is from the day one the the child being enter into the school need to provide those facilities and the support which the child requires. Because again here, the higher purpose of the education is not merely to provide the information. It is to making our life in harmony with all existence. That's very well being
support.
by our Guru Rabindranath Tagore ji. So keeping into that view, I think it is very much important. And you can see the example of so many people around us who, irrespective of any disability, have done wonders. So it is only providing them a right support, right environment, so that the people can nurture their talent.
Right. And also when it comes to journal students, you were talking about some of the things, but also there are a few focus areas which education policy is focusing on. What are those areas?
For the journal, like if you talk about, there are major, like one, I talked about the change in the schooling structure, and specifically the early childhood care and education. That is the major changes which has been done in the new national education policy. When when the child being from the 3 to 6 year of education was not a part of formal education, but now it is being a part of formal education itself. And the national curriculum framework guidelines are also been released by the NCERT, and soon we will be having a NCF for other levels as well. So the major changes, if you look upon, again, this early childhood care and education also become a part of the formal education. Here the structure become 5+3+3+4, and apart from this, the major skills which being focused are on, again, providing the child a diverse environment in terms of multiple entry and exit, if we'll talk about, right, and in terms of choices in the different languages being given to the child and different subjects also. And from the class 6 onwards, the focus is more upon the innovations and developing an entrepreneurship skills among the students.
Right.
Because if we look back in our time, that time we got that traditional teachings, and that time we never thought of to have any kind of startups. But thanks to our Indian government, under our honorable Prime Minister's visions, and the way he is working more to develop those innovations, creativity, and again the entrepreneurship skills among the students. So again, the Startup India is one of, again, the central scheme which is being there, which actually providing a provisions to the school children to come forward and become an entrepreneur.
And that is the reason we are hearing so many names who are early age starters, and they are running startups as well, like children who are 13-14 years old. They are also coming up with an idea. They are running their own startups. So that is really wonderful to know about. So how it would create an impact on children, this is most important thing which I want to understand.
See, first the thing is, if you talk particular about the language, again, see, the language is just a way of expression, right, to because so that the child can understand the concept. But at the same time, as a teacher, you are using a different kind of methodology, methods. Like we have an inquiry based method, we have a discovery method, we have a discussion method, and we use analytical based method, and innovative approach is being used. So when the child is going to make a part of the classroom, and the language in which the child is being comfortable, especially the mother tongue, the child can express well, and there will be a more engagement and participation in the classroom, because the focus is on the learning outcome. The focus is more on the learning outcome, what the child learn. It's not something what language the child is using. It is, again, what I said, the child should need to be more expressful, the child need to be more engaged, and more importantly, the child feel more inclusive also, in the classroom.
Correct. This seems perfectly fine. It will help children to communicate well. Most importantly, engage well with the teacher at initial years. Because what happens is when they have to communicate in English language, and there are children who are not comfortable with English, so they try to keep their mouth shut. They don't speak in front of teacher. So they create a habit of not speaking in classes. So I think that will be sorted out.
And it's not about the English, it's about the mother tongue. the language which is being used at home in the foundation years, it's more important.
Right. So once they start communicating with the teacher, they start opening up. That will help them a later stage also in life when they are so they would be able to communicate well with the teacher, with the class students, and other environment also. So that will be helpful.
And even very true. And even there is a great saying by Abdul Kalam ji, if you remember, the purpose of education is to make a good human beings, right? And that is with skills and expertise. So
Right.
here the purpose is to become a good human being. So that's the purpose of the major education, main education.
That's the primary objective, hopefully.
Yes.
So that's really wonderful to know about the changes, the upgradation on national education policy, which will be helpful to children. So happy to see that. So coming back to you again, if I talk about you, are you an introvert or an extrovert kind of a person? When you meet people or when you are in large gathering, you have to communicate or something like that, present. How you feel that point? And also, what is the plus and minus of the same?
As a person, if I look upon, I think I'm more ambivert kind of person. Again, like, looking at the situation, what kind of situation is where I feel like extrovert is what? You're going to be expressful, you become more social, and you're able to, share your thoughts with others. So that's basically, I think, the definition of extrovert. So, again, yes, where I feel like the people of like-minded being there, I always being social with them, and I'll try to connect with them. And again, it depends more upon the situation, I think. So as a person, if I look upon, it is basically the situation which actually influences more the time, and most importantly, the kind of group with whom you are interacting, that actually makes your personality.
Right. So that's really wonderful. If I talk about the journey of yours till now, there would be support required from people around. So who were the people supported you the most?
I think everybody, because starting talking about my parent, about my husband, because as I said, I got married at the age of 21, and had I not got the support of my husband, I would not able to fulfill my passion, fulfill my aspiration. It's all because of him. I being here, and what I feel, your friends also, are very are the building support for you, because they are the one when you feel shaky in the life, so they are the one who always support you. So the people, everybody, who's ever met has something to give. So this is what I felt. Everybody in my life who being with me are valuable, are important for me.
Right. So when it comes to motivation and inspiration, so we always keep inspiring others. But when it is required for us, what are the ways you get your motivation and inspiration from?
I think when we talk about motivation, I don't being motivated from the situation or from the environment. I being motivated more from within, internal motivation. That's always worked for me. So it's not something the environment, because if I'm very much passionate for something, I'll just take out my ways how to do it. So something, if I'll talk more about my motivation, it's actually my own passion and inspiration, which actually makes me to grow. That's what
Right.
I just want to say about this.
Wonderful. So what is your take on success? What do you think about success?
For me, success is to be happy and to give back to the society. That's what I really feel. And because being, a part of the education, I'm being around with my students, with the youngster. So, inculcating values among them and making them a happy person, that's something which, the major things which I have take over for my life. And most importantly, what I felt, we all have child in ourselves. We need to make that child alive. Never, make him her dead, but that could be possible only if you try every day something new, you accept the challenge. Because people always feel, oh, I have this challenge. But, there is nothing like challenge. It's just the absence of your solution or absence of the problem, because you don't have an idea how to solve that. So I think living every day by accepting the challenges you have, and making your passion live all the day. It's something which makes you move forward.
Right. So that is really a wonderful thought. So if I talk about any message, advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners, what is that message or what is that advice?
See, what I felt like, because this pandemic has really taught us so much. And that's something as a human being, I also have learned. Your professional journey, a journey of leading the life, that's important. But most important is to connect with yourself and to have that essence of spirituality. That's something very important, because again, what I believe as a person, truly connecting your mind, body and soul is very important. If any one element is missing, then you cannot coordinate the two, and raise all of your life will be disturbed and again messed up. So what I believe, whatever you have, live it fully, live each and every moment, because God has given us this precious life and we should be very thankful. We should always show gratitude. So I think gratitude is something, when we have this in our life, we always get lots of blessings, and that's something makes us move forward. So that's what I just wanted to say.
Right. That's really wonderful thought. Any other thing you would like to share?
I think most of my journey of life already being shared with you. But what I believe, as a person, just remain happy and take the things as it and enjoy life fully. But at the same time, do give pause, with every thought, whatever I'm doing, what it leads to. And most importantly, never ever hurt anybody, because that's something, if you're going to do this, it's come back to us. And the way we are expecting others to behave with us, the same way we should behave with them. That's it.
That's really important one, because that is the kind of reciprocation we receive for what our actions and our behavior with others. So that's really important one. So thank you so very much, Dr. Sneh. It was really wonderful having you here. Amazing insights you have shared. And I must say, the national education policy and things related to that, what are the benefits students can derive from that, is really important to know every student and their parents as well. So that will help them to understand about the national policy related to education, what are the changes happening and how it will benefit children as a whole. So thank you so much for sharing all those information. Looking forward to hear more from you soon again. Once again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jinder Singh, for being, inviting me and, giving me an opportunity to part of your show. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will share your social media link as well, so that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance wherever they need it. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye-bye.